Hi guys, today it is time to finally dig into one of the other small monochromatic palettes from Colourpop. I feel like I've missed a couple of the late ones because they just haven't really been like up my alley. So it's been a while since we've done a Colourpop video. I think the last one I did was with the Smoke Show palette. Is that what it was called? The black one? I think that's what it was called. But today we are going to be using the Mint to Be palette. This palette is so cute. And also before we move on, I should probably mention my hair because I think this video was the first one that is going up with my hair being this color. I filmed another video that I thought was going to go up first, so I did kind of have a disclaimer in the beginning of that video too, but I just wanted to mention it because like I obviously know that you guys haven't seen this color before, so this is my hair. I kind of dig it, so we're just gonna go ahead and get into this palette. I am actually really excited because from the pictures I've seen, this is really cute. I haven't opened this. I just got it in the mail like 10 minutes ago and I've been waiting all day to film with this. So here's what the packaging looks like. Super cute, just like all of the other monochromatic palettes. It's made out of plastic. It's supposed to have 9 shades in it. Let's see if it does. Of course, it always comes with like the foam thingy here on top. And this is what the palette looks like. It is so cute. I feel like it's really hard to like show you guys the colors in this palette just because the background is so similar to all the tones in here that I kind of wish the background was just white instead. Like at least on the inside, because then everything wouldn't kind of just blend together into one color. But it looks really nice and it looks like it has more depth in it than I thought it would. But one thing I would say is that I feel like in the picture, this color up here looked like it was more on the pink side. But now when I look at it, it's more of like a, I don't even know what I would say it is. It's like a duochrome white mint or something like that. I don't know, but I'm really excited. So we're just gonna get into this. We're gonna go ahead and do some swatches just so we can kind of see how they look outside of the packaging, because I just wanna see them like on my arm instead of against that mint background. I feel like that's really throwing it off for me.
I'm trying to stay focused, but somehow all I can think of is when you split. I gotta find the motive, play forward, watch every sequence bit by bit, 'cause this is my own investigation. I am obsessed with finding out why.
Okay, so I feel like this palette swatched okay. Some of the mattes needed a little bit of building up, especially this one right here, which was the last shade. But these shimmers are beautiful. I love this one. I also really like this one. I mean, honestly, I'm just excited to like play with this palette. Now, I've said this before in the past that I don't personally consider these monochromatic palettes from Colourpop to be standalone palettes, and it's just not how I would use these palettes. So I think what I'm gonna do is, because I've been doing this a lot lately and I just think it's way more fun this way, I think I'm gonna go ahead and draw a random palette from my collection to pair with this palette and just use like 1 or 2 shades from that palette along with this, just to kind of show you like that you don't need to use this palette to create the looks that you want to create. And I'm sure that whatever I end up choosing, you're going to have something that is going to be similar in your collection that you can pull in as well. So let me go ahead and pull up my my wheel here so we can spin for a palette. Okay, let's go ahead and see which one is going to be. This is always so exciting to me. I just love doing this. Oh, the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. Wow, I've used that so much lately. I kind of wish I had gotten something else, but it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. I actually feel like that's going to be quite a nice companion palette to this. So before we do a look or anything like that, I need to prime my eyes, so I'm gonna use my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base that I always use. So you know what I said about these two probably going well together? Well, I completely take that back because I really don't think that these are going to go together at all. So we might just scrap this. I might just use this palette in this video. Let me know how you guys feel about people pulling in stuff to use in their first impression videos. I would love to know, because I feel like with a palette like this, there's only so many looks you can do, and I feel like everyone's videos are going to end up looking very similar unless you really like go out of the box and do something very editorial, or like a triple cut crease with like some crazy graphics and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just want to like play with multiple things at the same time, but like I said, today, let's just work with this palette, and I'm sure my look is going to end up being similar to a lot of other people's because really, there's only so many things you could do with something like this. So let me go ahead and see what I want to do. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do like a halo eye. It'll allow me to use quite a lot of shades here. So I think the one I'm going to start off using is going to be Demente. I don't know what that means. This is supposed to be Dement. I don't know, but all I know is I want this to be my crease shade. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this all the way through my crease and we will see how this performs. This is one of the colors that swatched the worst. and seems to be very, very sheer and chalky. So we'll see how it applies on the eyes. It has a lot of kick up in the pan here, but it does seem to be going on the eye quite pigmented, which is always nice. So I'm making sure to really press this shadow on to make sure it shows up as much as I wanted to here. And I'm also keeping the shape of this pretty round since I'm gonna do a halo eye. Also, like on the topic of pulling in other things, let me know how you guys do your makeup. Do you normally just pick one palette and use that palette for your look for the day? Or do you maybe choose one palette to have like as your foundation for the look, and then maybe throughout the look you figure out that you want to do something else, so you will pull from other places? I would love to know, because I feel like everyone does their makeup so differently that it's just very interesting to me just to see like how other people approach this. And like, of course, it's also going to depend on like how much time you normally spend on your makeup. Like if you're just wanting to do a quick look for work or something and you have to be out the door in 15 minutes, you know, you're probably not going to want to pull from 3 different palettes. But if you're the kind of person who like to take your time with your makeup when you do your makeup, maybe you're like me and you like to just experiment and like try out different things and work with different color combinations. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go into Chill Factor, which is the darkest of the mattes in this palette, and I'm going to use this color to create the halo part. So I'm going to take this on the outer portion of my lid as well as on the inner portion. This was also one of those shades that just didn't really swatch that well, but it seems to be going on the eye pretty well at least. I don't feel like this is the most pigmented color, and it's a little bit powdery and hard to work with. I wouldn't say it's my favorite like dark matte that I have from Colourpop. Like I feel like this color is a little bit sheer and it just doesn't build as well as some other mattes that I have from Colourpop, and I also feel like my crease color is fading a little bit. Not that I'm trying to like hate on this or anything, but I'm just like not super impressed by how these are going on the eyes. I feel like they're a little bit just hard to work with. Like I do get that this palette is supposed to be, you know, meant to use to create very soft and minty looks with, but I still feel like this color just is not as dark on my eye as it is in the pan here. I don't know, maybe that is just me, but I'm gonna go back into that mint shade that I used in my crease here. And I'm just gonna go back and forth between these two colors to try to get this to where I want it to be. And can you see like what I mean? Like the difference between the two colors is like barely there, so I need to really go in with more of this one and build this up. And it just doesn't really build all that well. I felt like the crease shade built better than this one. Like this is as dark as I'm able to get the inner and outer portion of my lid here, and I feel like that is really not the kind of depth that I was expecting from this color, which probably explains why it did swatch kind of badly, because it's just not very buildable. So I think for the middle of my lid, I'm gonna go into, which one do I want to use? I'm so tempted to use Mint Tea, which is this one, but I feel like everyone else is probably going to use that one. So instead I'm gonna go into, let's try the Mojito Mommy shade, the middle one in the palette, and then I'll probably go ahead and put this one in my inner corner. So I'm not sure what I want to do on my lower lash line yet, but let's just take this one step at a time. So this is a beautiful color. This is really, really pretty. It's not super metallic or anything, but I really think that the color of this is really nice. So I'm basically just putting this in the middle of my eye here and just fading it out on the sides. Actually, let me try to put a little bit of this shadow just on top of this, because I feel like this one is going to have a bit more going on with it, because I think this is more of like a duochrome topper kind of shade. Let's just go ahead and put that in the middle instead. Yeah, I mean, it's not really doing a whole ton more, but I do feel like it's adding just a little bit more dimension here. So I think just to kind of try out some more shades here, let's go into Ice Cold. I'm going to put this on my lower lash line, and then I'm going to use probably this shade right here to kind of blend this out with. That one is called Seltzer. And this I would say is more of like a minty teal. Oh, that's really pretty. I love the tone of that. So I think that is so far my favorite matte in this palette. That is beautiful. I'm gonna go into a bit of Seltzer here and just use that to blend this color out a little bit. I'm also going to go back into Played Cool here that I used in the middle of my lid and just put a little bit of this into my inner corner. I don't want like too much of this, but I just want to have a little bit that's going to make this pop. Yeah, I definitely feel like this color is a lot more impactful than the one that I first put in my halo part. And so like here's kind of my issue with the monochromatic palettes, because on my eyes, like it doesn't look like I've just used, what have I used, like 6 or 7 shades right now. Like it all kind of looks, you know, the same, like the crease looks the same as the lower lash line. There's just not really that much difference. And this is why I like to use these palettes like along with something else and not try to make a lot of different looks using just one palette. But I'm gonna go back into that dark shade and just try to build this up a little bit more, because I'm just not happy with how that is looking. And I just don't feel like I get what I want out of this shade, because it is just not building at all, no matter what brush I use this with. Maybe it's just not possible to get this shade any darker. And I'm also going to take a bit more of that very first shade that I put in my crease and just make sure that I have everything the way that I want this here before I go ahead and finish off with my look. So I think this is where I want to leave it. I'm going to go off camera and finish off with my eyes. So I'm going to pop something in my waterline, do some light mascara, put on a lipstick, and then I'll come back and we can talk a little bit more about this palette. I definitely have some thoughts that I would like to get out, so I will be right back when the completed look is done. So here's the look all done. I do think that it came together and that it looks really nice. For my waterline, I used one of the NYX Faux Whites. This is in the shade Honeydew. It's kind of like a pastel-y mint, I guess you can call it. And then for my lipstick, I used one of the new Bite Lip Crayons. This is like a matte lipstick. It's called Tatin. So that's what's on my lips. I really like the formula on this. This is really nice. If you haven't seen these, it's basically just like a crayon. I know that NARS has something similar. I don't know what theirs are called, but same concept, and I really like something like this because I always struggle with my bullet lipstick application because my upper lip is so small. So this is perfect. I really like this. It also smells like candy. It smells so good. So let's talk a little bit more about this palette now. I'm gonna be completely honest and say that this is not one of my favorite Colourpop palettes. It's probably my least favorite that I have in my collection, if I'm being completely honest here. And I do think that the shimmers are really nice, but some of these mattes needs a lot of help. And I just think that pastels are really, really hard to formulate, and that's probably why I just don't like this palette that much. I don't know, I just wish that there was more depth in it. I wish that this dark shade had a little bit more oomph to it and it was just like a better shade. But I feel like with all kinds of shades that you need to add white to, it just really hinders the performance of the shadows. Like pastel shadows just never seem to perform as good as just basic like rainbow shadows. And I don't know why that is because I don't make eyeshadow, so I can't really speak for it. But let's just put it this way, if I lost this palette, I wouldn't repurchase it, but I'm also not mad that I have it in my collection. It's just not really my favorite. So let me know if you have this palette, let me know if you've tried it, let me know if you have a different opinion than me, which is totally fine because we all like different things. So that's gonna be it for my trying the Mint to Be palette from Colourpop. If you want to see my Colourpop playlist, I will have that up on the screen if you want to go check that out. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.